State Police wanted those items, and they asked at least 4 New Mexico State athletics officials for them. None of them got back to the detective. As he was trying to collect this gun, tablet, and phone, New Mexico State Police agent David Escobel gave Assistant Athletic Director Bron Cartwright a warning.
I don't know what those players did with it between, the incident and now. And if those items are in one of their rooms, we need them to hand those things over like now, because for obvious reasons, and also they're evidence, so we don't want anybody else to get hemmed up for tampering with evidence. We'd
Absolutely.
like to nip this in the butt now.
But let me make some calls and I can see what I can find out as far as where those items may or may not be.
But Target 7 has learned through these reports and text messages that instead of calling the detective back, Cartwright called New Mexico State University Police Chief Andrew Bowen to tell him where the evidence was.
There was no need to involve the University Police Department of NMSU. Wasn't necessary. Now,
Darren White used to oversee the state police when he was the Department of Public Safety Cabinet Secretary.
wasn't their case. This state police is, they were handling this case, they were investigating this case, and they didn't need the assistance of the chief, the lieutenant, or anyone else at the University Police Department.
The state police agent called NMSU coaches several times.
Hi, you've reached Greg Hyler. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here.
Black versus the Board of Education.
'Cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go to 'cause we been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
That's right. Back again for another Monday. It's Miss Laureen with Black versus the Board of Education. As usual, we welcome you into this space. Today we are talking about what happened with the New Mexico basketball player and the situation that he found himself in with this series of unfortunate decisions he decided to make. This episode is called PEAKE-A-BOO. And before we get started, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to kick it to my team so they can introduce themselves. And I'm going to start with Samuel. So go ahead and pull Samuel up. Go ahead, Sam. Say, hey.
Hello, my name is Samuel. I'm in 6th grade. I had my last day of school today.
Oh, come on, Sam. Last day of school. What'd you say?
First semester.
For the semester.
Oh,
All right. That's what's up. Welcome back, Miss Anaya.
Hey everyone. My name is Anaya and I'm currently a senior in high school.
Perfect. Jada.
Hey, my name is Jada. I am a senior, a homeschooled senior, and this is actually my last week of school for the semester. So, whoop, whoop.
You feeling yourself?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Jalen.
My name is Jalen. I'm a college student, and it's finals week.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna send you some
Send
finals.
me all the
juice.
finals
Oh,
love. I
me
need
too.
it.
I need that
need
for
it.
You need it too?
Spanish.
Okay, let me
I need
sprinkle
all the
y'all.
finals love.
That's right. There you go. There you go.
I need it.
And so before we get started with this particular episode, I just have a couple of announcements. I have to give a huge shout out to one of the BYLP's alumni. He was just actually sworn in as mayor of the city of Pinole. So shout out to Devin Murphy. He also used to be a board member here. So we are extremely proud of Devin and his ascension in the political ranks. Also, Miss Anaya.
Yes.
You legal now, girl. You done got your license. You done beat Tevin. You done beat Jada. Jada.
Don't forget on me.
And so Anaya drove herself. How you feeling? You good or what?
Peaceful.
I like to get to places, I don't like the destination. I like the arrival.
Yeah.
You don't.
You mean
Okay.
the journey?
Yeah, you meant.
Yeah, the journey.
that was-
I
I'm
like
about
the
to
You
arrival.
said two of the same words, little synonyms. Okay.
I see where you were going. Execution was off.
I was just like, dang, okay. You don't like that. All right,
Get it.
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you guys, we actually had to pivot today, and we are talking about what happened with New Mexico State. the basketball player Mike Peake. And I know that opening clip didn't really tell us what happened, but apparently this particular basketball player, he was set up and lured to campus by a 17-year-old girl, where 3 men jumped out to jump him and beat him up. They hit him in his leg and shot him, and he returned fire. So when we're talking about things that are happening around us, and I talk to you about how Black kids are dealing with one another, this is yet another example. So apparently there was some sort of incident that transpired before this particular incident, where there was a fight at a football game. And this was a retaliation of sorts, where they used this young lady who she was a willing participant. Let's not get it twisted. They used this young lady to basically set him up to come and see her under false pretenses. And once he arrived, this ambush kind of occurred. So I know you guys, this is a new story to you. So when you saw the details, or you're learning the details as we go along and we're having dialogue, what's the first thing that came to mind? Samuel, I'm gonna go to you first.
I was just trying to figure out like what happened and what caused this. Like what type of things were they going through where they needed to set up a whole plan to try to jump somebody with a gun. That I was just like so confused, and I just needed more details, more explanation. Some articles were really vague with what they were saying. Maybe that's because information hasn't been out yet, but super vague, it's like, yeah, this happened, but there's no details about it. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
Right. And so I pulled a timeline, and I'll just read. So Travis was in his dorm room. Travis is one of the boys, the last name of one of the boys who concocted this plan, including the girl who had been in contact with Peake for a while, as well as 2 other people. Hill, which is the girl, intended to meet Peake to have sex, but Travis, the boy, upon hearing that Hill was talking to Peake, convinced her to set up Peake so that Travis and his friends could jump him as revenge for a fight at a football game. The plan was for Hill to walk with Peake until Travis, Smith, and Upshaw rolled up, and Hill was to run away. So it's really interesting. Not interesting in a way. So he thought he was just going to go hook up with a girl. Problem with that, Jalen?
Yeah, it's always a problem because you always have to be head on a swivel, especially now because a lot of this girl setting up guys is being glorified now, and a lot of rap that is being put out, or just different stories that
really
on social media. I've heard a lot of different stories about you always have to keep your head on a swivel when you're going to meet up with somebody for the first time. You don't even know them.
Right.
You always have to be conscious of, well, letting people know where you're at, letting people know who you're going to be with, letting people know, hey, having an exit plan for if this goes awry.
Do you think, Anaya, do you think there was a problem with what was going on with what he initially thought? Do you think he should have been afraid, aware, or I would say he had to know something because he showed up with a firearm, right?
Yeah, that was interesting. Unless
he always travels with.
Honestly, that makes sense.
I mean,
what makes sense? Talk to me. Somebody talk to me.
It makes sense for him to always travel with the firearm. I mean, because he's a professional athlete, and you about to go meet a girl.
No, he's a collegiate athlete. He's in college.
Okay, well, collegiate athlete. He's very successful in the stuff that he does. He might have a couple of enemies out there because he's super successful. He's Black. He's a tall man. He may be seen as a threat. So, of course, in his mind, he thought his best protection was to keep a firearm, especially if he's licensed. I don't know if he finds anything wrong with carrying it. He's about to go meet a girl in the middle of the night. Anything could happen. I'm sure he probably wasn't thinking I'm about to get jumped because he's probably just thinking with his whatever.
With his lower extremity. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, his little peak.
Okay. I like that play on words, though. I like that.
And, so, he's just being cautious. And, he was being cautious, and unfortunately, he ended up having to use it. He probably just brought it for protection, but unfortunately, he ended up feeling like he had to use it. So,
Anaya, do you think that he was overly cautious, or do you think he may have anticipated something might happen? besides what he wanted to happen?
Ooh, I feel like he may have anticipated it because if there was a fight that he was involved in a fight
Ooh, that makes
prior,
sense.
right? It would make sense for his guard to be high at all times. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially like you said, there was already an altercation that happened on this camp. Was it on the campus? Was
I
it
know
on?
it was at a football game involving the two schools.
So
is what I'm understanding.
So
I'm
they're from
hoping.
different schools. The guys in
Yeah.
the
So basically, it's New Mexico
That's
and
why
New
she
Mexico
lured
State.
him to campus. It wasn't his original campus.
Oh, the girl and him are from two different campuses. He went
Yes.
to another
Oh,
campus.
He went to the.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That was your
so,
first mistake.
So he goes to New Mexico and she goes to New Mexico State. They're basically
No.
right.
She goes to the University of New Mexico. He goes to New Mexico State University.
Yeah, so they're basically rivals.
Right.
And he already had altercations with people that were from
University of New Mexico.
And if you know you're gonna go there, the last time you were there, something already took place.
Yeah.
I feel like he thought that he needed to be,
Yeah.
on guard. I don't think he had his guard up
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he had his guard up at all, because like he had his guard up intending to go there, but once he got there, he let his guard down because he wasn't even aware of surroundings. Because if you were on guard, they wouldn't have been able to roll up on him.
No, right.
Why wasn't he aware?
Because he was around a girl and he thought that everything was sweet. When you're, it's like you have a tendency when you are around people that you find like, especially if you want to do something like that, you lower your guard and you're like, you know what? I feel like this wouldn't happen to me until it happens to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, as we learn more about the story, there are a couple of things that really stick out to me. First of all, he is an athlete, and they were supposed to be in the hotel. And it says that New Mexico State University basketball men's basketball assistant, I don't know why it says it like that, Mr. Taylor and other Aggie coaches conducted room checks at the Doubletree Hotel, and all players were in their room. Approximately at 1:15 to 1:20, Taylor sees Aggie's player Peake, Pinson, and Benjamin walk into the hotel. Taylor points in the direction of the elevators, but does not have a conversation with them. So he took a lift somewhere and went to see this young lady, and he sees them walking back into the hotel. Wait, no, he didn't take the lift yet, but they had room checks. They got out the room. He sees them walking back into the hotel, and then it says at 1:36 a.m., Peake orders a Lyft ride, and it's scheduled to arrive at the destination on the University of New Mexico campus at 1:51 a.m. So he was supposed to have his behind somewhere sleep.
So
and he decided to sneak out. Sam, is that a problem? That he decided to sneak out after curfew?
I mean, I mean, it's not like a super big problem, but you're a collegiate athlete. You should be taking that seriously, especially when you have aspirations to go pro. You should be taking that seriously. But college students do college things. They're gonna
come on, Sam.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
They're gonna go party, whatever they do. They're gonna do that stuff. So it's not like really a big problem. But it's just you have to be more responsible than a regular college student as a collegiate athlete if you're trying to go pro.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it's a problem that he was 21 and she was 17? Y'all got quiet. Hold on.
I'm thinking. Okay, so I would say, come back to me.
You would okay.
Sorry.
Because we can have this conversation about, minors versus adults. We can have the conversation about did he know she was 17? Because I think you were telling me that you read somewhere, you might have thought it was on.
I was on Twitter, and a lot of people were under the assumption that they met off of Twitch, off of Tinder. And on Tinder, you can lie about your age, and if you are 17, you can really put any age. They don't like ID check or anything. You could just put an age. You just can't change the birthday or anything, but you can put age of 18. So maybe he wasn't under the assumption that because you have to be 18 to be on the app.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did meet on the app, then her age definitely said 18 or older.
So
And
should
she
he be
went-
concerned that she was in fact 17?
Should he be concerned?
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like.
I mean, is that a question? Like, why are you
No,
confused?
Sorry, I'm saying okay because I would say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samuel?
I'm just like, you really on that border of like barely legal stuff. Like it's max 5 years difference for it to be consensual. So you really on that border. You really edging that line. And it's really situational if they even met on Tinder. You don't even know where they
Right.
met. They could have met on the street. They could have met because maybe at
I
the
thought they
football
met
game.
at the football game
Yeah.
Oh.
I've heard multiple different. I've seen multiple different things.
because
so
I
don't
heard
know.
that they had been talking since the football game.
Then that would make sense that they.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you are on Tinder and then you were like, "Hey, let's go to that football game," and then I'm gonna meet her there. So
Well, they
then
were
it's-
rival schools. I would imagine she would already be there.
I know, so that's probably why
Mhm.
he also went there probably to meet up with her for the first time. Maybe I'm just saying.
And
we're
honestly,
giving
even
different-
if it wasn't on Tinder, you could still lie about your age in real time.
You're
Like,
right.
Yeah, that's very
and she
true.
goes to college, of course. Nobody, because until somebody explained to me, oh, her birthday might have been late. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I would initially thought, how can you be 17 and be in college? But late birthdays exist, I guess.
Early.
Go ahead, Sam.
It's early birthdays, by the way. 17.
No,
Late.
Late.
No,
late. No,
late.
late because say I'm 17. I turned 18 right in my senior year, but my friend, she has a birthday in August, which is when she would start her freshman year in college.
So that's a late birthday.
Sam,
Okay,
I know
y'all
what I'm
get
talking
it.
about.
Y'all get
Thank you.
It doesn't matter. So basically, this young lady was 17 years old. She conspired with 3 other people to set this young man up to be jumped. He thought he was coming for one reason. He ended up with being hit in the leg with a bat and shot. Right.
Mhm.
We had a chance to watch the surveillance video. What stuck out to you the most? This ain't a trick question, y'all.
I didn't
What
watch
stuck
it.
out to
I
me
don't
the
watch
most,
it.
I guess. The most that I saw, the first one that I saw, he was in a corner talking to a girl, and then there's these 3 guys.
The girl.
Mm-hmm. And there's these 3 guys, the 3 guys that came from different directions. 2 guys came. One guy ran up. I guess he's the one who had the gun. It was Michael, I think his name, Michael.
His name was Brandon.
Brandon.
Mike is the one who got shot.
Right.
The other one.
So Brandon, and then a guy comes up behind him, but then the other guy runs to the parking lot. So they all kind of just like, they all like came in on him in a corner. Then I guess I saw the girl because I think the report says she ran away. I just saw her disappear into a door. So it seemed like she was standing right at the door. And then I think that's what stuck out to me the most. She was there, and the next second she wasn't. Like she faded into the wall. That's what stuck out to me.
So if you guys hear somebody coming up on you at nighttime, what do you think may have been going through his mind?
The worst.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody is going to try to assault or rob or kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's probably really, of course, really scary for him because you're in the dark. It's only supposed to be you and this other person, and you hear multiple people running towards in your direction. It's like, all right, what's going down? Like, what's about to happen?
And then the girl that you meet up with disappears.
Right.
It's like, oh. And then I think that clicked for him. She set me up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think in that moment, like Jada said, it clicked for him. He knew. And he was aware of like what was going on after that happened.
Yeah. And I just wonder, like as I don't know. At nighttime, I'm always really hyper alert.
Yeah.
Of
And that's
footprints or footsteps.
Like
in
as
the
soon as I
back
heard the
or-
like how you not hear the skitter scatter of people gathering.
No, and
No,
that's
I
why-
think he heard it.
And that's why I think he had his guard down because, and also you said they came in different. I didn't watch the surveillance. They said they came in different directions.
One ran through the
So
parking
then,
lot, and then the
The
guy,
other 2 came
the guy with
down
the bat
sidewalk.
came behind the guy.
Okay, so then he's probably he probably hears it, but hears so many different ones, so
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
just like-
he doesn't know if it's actually coming for him or not. Because if you think you hearing footsteps this way, footsteps this way, you're like, what's going on already? You're like, why is everybody running?
My first thought, because you're standing right by the door, get inside. That would be my first thought. Just get inside. but I guess he was trying to see first what was going on. Because the girl disappeared into the door after the guy came up, stood in front of her. Because the guy
I wonder
came
if
up,
she had an access card to get into that door,
I
or is that a door that it opens?
and why did it
Because
take
if
her
it's
so
the
long?
dorms, then you have to have an
most
access
of them
card.
you do
to
have
get
to have
in.
an
And
access
it was
card.
weird because why did it take so long for her to offer to go inside? Like y'all just standing outside talking. For
Well, it says that
pretty.
she was supposed to lure him there until those three got there, and she was supposed to run away.
Yes, but like for the guy's mind, why are we automatically going inside? Like, why am I standing outside in the dark talking to some female in the corner of a parking
That's
lot?
what I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm. That
Like,
would be weird.
Like you called me here for a reason. Let's go inside. Like that would be my thought as a guy. Like, why are we still standing outside?
Yeah. But I want to go
Yeah.
back. No, this is my thing. This is my thing because I had this thought. Going back to the curfew thing, as a former athlete, that like when we travel to different cities and hotels and stuff like that, it actually is very, very easy to skip curfew. Like they do one check, and after the check, they go into their room and go to sleep, and you don't see them until the next morning. So it's very, very easy to do that.
it's easy to skip curfew.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you heard from one of the coaches too, because he said that he missed 11 calls from one player and then he missed 4 from another because he was asleep. He didn't get to his phone until the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So you're assuming after you do those checks that they're where they're supposed to be.
You think they're going to be asleep?
They're still college students, whether you're a collegiate athlete or not. They still got teenage hormones, teenage brains.
Well, he's 21. He ain't no teenager.
Still.
And I'm thinking the coach probably has trust in his team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, cool, room check, go to sleep now. Got practice in the morning. Good night. That's what I'm thinking. The coaches were like, we don't have to do 2 or 3. These are grown men at this point.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, so he sneaks out. He gets involved in this altercation. Apparently, after he gets shot, he calls his friends and asks them to come and help him. We don't know the contents of the conversation, of course, but you see on the video, a yellow Camaro shows up. 3 people jump out of the car. They say that it is then that these teammates take his tablet and his gun and put it into the trunk of the car and they drive away. Now they're trying to paint it as if those teammates were involved in the situation the whole time.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Jalen, what were you saying about that? Why would you think they would be trying to pin something on the teammates?
Oh, because to be honest with you, I don't even like. It's so crazy. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with them. I think they're just trying to get anybody because I don't know.
Or make the whole team look
Samuel?
bad.
Wait.
Any thoughts why they are trying to now pin stuff on the teammates?
I mean, it just seems like they trying to find people to blame it for, specifically black people, young black men.
They're all young black men though.
True.
They're all young black men.
I was like,
so-
pause.
Crazy.
Aren't they all? I have a
Yeah,
question.
Yeah.
Sam, if you're finished.
Yeah.
So they showed up to where he was shot, just for clarification, they took the tablet, the gun, left him there and then left.
No.
They left. No, they put the tablet and the gun in the trunk and then picked him up and then they left to go to the hospital.
So maybe they were hiding evidence to make him look more innocent. Hiding the
Who?
tab.
I don't think they were hiding
Make who look innocent?
Mike, the one who was shot.
And you think that's why the police are trying to pin something on them, like because
because I'm thinking of, okay, you had a gun. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe it wasn't registered to him. Let's hide the gun. Oh, your tablet. Maybe it has the messages on there. Let's take that. I don't know.
But yeah, they're supposed to collect evidence. Yes.
Mhm.
But the thing is this. So, if I were out with my friends and something transpires where they get shot, do you think we're going to have a conversation of what happened, or do you think that I'm going to get you to the hospital as quick as possible?
That's
Yeah,
why
we're not
I'm
gonna
saying
talk
it's
about it now.
unreasonable. That's why I say it's unreasonable for them to pin like oh, they're accomplices.
Yeah.
If Anaya called me saying, yo, I just got shot, come get me, I'm hopping in the
No
car and I'm
questions
driving.
asked.
Like
Without a
no
license
questions
and
asked.
everything, huh?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
you-
Oh,
no, no, like that's
Like-
the thing. The last thing on your mind is what happened.
Yeah,
I
it's
want to know, are you okay?
Right.
We're gonna get you okay.
Like, are you bleeding out? Are you about to die? Like you know, it's
Like,
just
stay on
so
the
many
phone.
things.
Stay on the phone with me. I'm
Yeah.
about to be there. Like,
Right.
you good.
And so now what's happening is they're trying to find the driver of that yellow Camaro.
When
They're
they should
trying
be
to hold the teammates responsible for, I guess, I don't know if it's referred to as chain of custody. I should have had Obed on. But I think it's chain of custody where the property changes hands, so many hands.
My question is, where's this energy for the people who are a part of it? The people who knocked him in the leg, the person who came up running in the parking lot.
I believe they've been arrested.
Okay, because I was just like, where's all this energy for the other team?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
lost. Why are we focused on the people who...
So it says approximately 3 a.m. Peake is seen on the video surveillance walking with Hill outside of the Coronado complex on the UNM campus. 3 men approach him. 2 other men from behind near the entrance to the dormitory. Travis points a gun at Peake's face. One of the students hits Peake in the leg with a baseball bat. Smith will later tell police that Upshaw is the one with the bat. After briefly falling to the ground, Peake gets up and starts to run. Travis fires his gun at Peake several times. Peake pulls a firearm from his waist a Smith & Wesson SD. Well, they got really specific, and fires back, hitting Travis 4 times, twice in the chest, once in the scrotum, and once in the arm. An autopsy will later reveal a shot to the left chest is what kills Travis. Peake is shot in the left leg in the exchange. So the other 2, Upshaw and Smith, flee and will later tell investigators their versions of what happened next. Smith dials 911 following the shooting and throws his phone underneath a car. Upshaw breaks a window and they enter Coronado Hall and change their clothes in Upshaw's room. The 2 get in Smith's car, retrieve his phone, and throw their clothes in a sewer drain near Lobo Village. Smith and Upshaw make their way back to the scene of the shooting and are in a crowd watching as police attempt to help Travis, who would eventually succumb to his injuries.
So they didn't. So
Whoa.
it sounds like
they didn't stay there with him.
Yeah, I'm like fake
they
friends?
left,
Yeah.
threw their clothes, and came back to stand in the crowd. Like, what happened?
Yeah, that's a little fake. That's not even a little. You left your friend there to die. See, the other
he was probably gonna die anyway.
Regardless, like you would want him to make it. Yes, no.
Yeah,
You go there with your friend gets shot. You would want to help your friend, right? Not
That's so
flee
weird.
the scene, come back like, oh my god, what happened?
Well, they threw their clothes away, which is evidence, right?
Yeah.
They arrest those 2, and apparently they also arrest the 17-year-old.
My thing is, she says, nobody was supposed to die, but why did they even pull out a gun on him in the first place?
Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to speak for him.
Well, it says in there he's running away, and then
he gets shot out multiple times.
So if somebody's running away, they're not a threat anymore.
No. He pulled the gun out. So what I saw on the first video, when they all ran up on him, he was standing there. The girl is like behind the guy with the gun. He pulls the gun out, points to his face. Then that's when his friend comes and knocks him in the leg. So he pulled out the gun on like first walking up to his face because that's what kept him distracted from the guy with the bat to run up and knock him in his leg. So he just brought a gun because he thought he was big and bad. He was like, hey, remember that fight yesterday? I got a gun now. What you want to do about it? That's how I'm taking it.
And I don't know if it was yesterday per se, but I know there was an altercation. I don't want to say any dates because I'm not really 100% sure, but I know it was previous to them having, I guess there was supposed to be some sort of basketball game the day after or the day of or something like that.
Sometime that week, I want to say. It was sometime in that week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when this incident happens, law enforcement, my understanding is that they were upset that the team immediately boarded the bus to go home.
Mm-hmm.
The New Mexico State team boarded the bus to return back to wherever their part of New Mexico is. They were also upset because the coaches would not allow them to question the 3 teammates. Was that a right decision or a wrong decision?
100% right.
It was a right decision.
Samuel, talk to me. Right decision or wrong decision for them not to allow the police to question the kids on the bus?
Probably the right decision. You as a coach, you probably don't want your players saying the wrong thing and then they're locked up for life or something. As a coach of those players, you don't know what the situation is. You just want to protect your players.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the coaches felt a responsibility to them?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's great.
Because he was like, you're not going to speak to them without a lawyer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches that wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Mhm.
A lot
That
of
means
coaches
you
that would have just
care.
threw them under the bus. Like, okay, oh, you want them? Go talk to them because I'm trying to
Right.
talk to them too. So hopefully you can get something out of them. There's a lot
Mm.
of coaches that could have done that, but for him to be like, you know what? No, we're gonna get them a lawyer, and then you can speak to their lawyer.
Right.
That's
And I take it in the same way as, mommy's always telling me, she's like, don't write no statements without your parent present. But in this case, you're legal, you're grown.
Mhm.
Get a lawyer.
mhm.
Don't be
Yeah.
talking to nobody without somebody there. And that's what they did.
And so, they have been getting a lot of criticism for that. They say that the players were not cooperating with law enforcement. They said that they were supposed to help them, but they didn't help law enforcement, and that they could face charges for not being open with the information. And so, my question to you all is, like, when you hear criticisms like that, is it fair to assume that people are out of touch with what's been happening regarding police and community relations, and
Yes.
why
Obviously.
people
Oh
would
my
be
gosh.
mistrusting
Yes.
of
Obviously.
law enforcement? And I don't want to
Yeah.
put words into your mouth, but is that I don't want to say a correct line of thinking, but is that something that you think factors into why the decision was made to keep them for them to
Mhm.
remain silent and wait until
Yes.
they had legal representation?
Yes, because
Absolutely.
you know how much power police hold. They could have twisted that story up and
That-
put it on those other boys who were his teammates.
They're
Mhm.
trying.
So I mean, yeah, that's what first came to our minds. Right. It's like, no, you're not going to take them without a lawyer because we
Right.
know the power you have. We know what corrupt system you work for.
Mhm.
We know what you can and want to do.
And most people just think, oh, they're trying to help him. They're trying to keep him safe. Not even keep him safe,
Right.
but like, oh, they're trying to protect him from, whatever because he's hiding something. No, I'm just trying to protect my players because I actually care about my players.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
care about their futures.
So two of them had been arrested. The third person, I'm assuming the one without the bat,
Yeah.
it has not been charged with anything. Mike, who was jumped and shot in the leg, has not been charged with anything. The 17-year-old has been charged, but the three of Mike's teammates were suspended for one game, and then Mike himself has been suspended indefinitely.
Mm.
And so, you think that's fair? Do you?
I have a hard time with that because the fact that he did skip curfew.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know their team dynamic, and I don't know how justifiable the punishment for skipping curfew is. So that's the only part that I can see why he was suspended, and that's the only part that I'm having trouble
But
with.
suspended indefinitely? Didn't they all violate curfew? If that's the
They did.
standard that we're using?
Yeah.
The way that I'm thinking about it, they're not just thinking, oh, you skip curfew. I think they're thinking we could be having a player on our team that committed murder.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I think they're probably thinking about their rep, like, going to games, people might not want to play them because no, you're a team member, they killed somebody, And I wasn't really thinking about curfew, maybe because I don't understand basketball like that, where curfew is like such this huge important thing.
It's not even. It's just more sports because of the simple fact coaches know as soon as they go into their room, they're supposed to be in charge of you because first of all, you're not near your home destination,
Yep.
and they're like,
And they're responsible.
they're
for you.
responsible for you,
Mhm.
and they're in their room, so they have you guys have no supervision. So they take that super seriously, and it's any sport, football, basketball, any sport that travels, really.
Yeah.
So
Samuel, were you trying to jump in?
Yeah, I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yes. So I feel like it's a little excessive. I feel like the season, maybe two, but indefinitely is like shutting down his future because he may around the campus he may not be viewed the same. He may be kind of looked at with stirred up, I mean, he's committed all this time into basketball, and he just found himself in a situation where I wouldn't say found because it was kind of he kind of contributed to it, but he was kind of struck in the situation where he had to choose what
It's
in
either
in
him or me,
right,
right?
Right.
right.
Mhm.
So he was thinking, I gotta pull out my gun, I gotta shoot back because they shooting at me,
Right.
and it just happened. Like,
But doesn't indefinitely mean like no, without a timetable though?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that means like there's no predetermination of you're
No.
gonna get off on this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indefinite.
So he's not kicked off. It's just like we're not gonna tell you when you're coming back.
Yeah. It's one of
Well,
those.
I mean, he's been shot and his leg is likely broken based on the way his ankle was flailing.
And his
So,
leg went like a-
I mean, I'm thinking, okay, he's just suspended indefinitely. But at the same time, let's talk about the decisions that he made because he contributed to the situation.
Mhm.
Had he stayed as behind where he was supposed to be, he wouldn't have found himself in this situation.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you saying yes, but you looking up at the sky, which means but what? What you saying?
If he had skipped curfew, I would understand the suspension. I guess the only I guess I don't want to blame him. I'm not saying you're blaming him, but I don't want to feel like I'm blaming him for the situation he was in. Did you make a dumb decision? Yes. Did you expect that this was coming?
Oh, I don't
Absolutely
think
not. He may
I don't
have
think
thought,
did.
oh, something could happen to me, but I'm sure he wasn't thinking I'm about to get jumped by these different dudes and somebody about to put a gun in my face and I'm gonna end up with a broken leg, let me not go. Like I'm sure that there was some inkling that something bad could happen to him, but he probably wasn't thinking about that. And the fact that he was caught in this situation, I'm sure when he fired back, he wasn't intent. Maybe he was intent on shooting somebody, but not killing somebody. He was just fighting for his life. I think that I don't know, like he was just fighting for his life. I'm not gonna put the blame on the situation he was in on him. He made a very dumb decision that cost him his entire future. But I don't know.
Well, every decision has a consequence, whether it's a good or a bad decision,
Of
right?
course.
And so when you're dealing with decisions or the consequences of your decisions, you can't just say, "Oh, well, I didn't intend to." So, no, there's a consequence for that decision. Now, whether or not it was self-defense, that's arguable because dude
Yeah, I was
shot at
gonna
him
ask
first.
that.
Mhm.
So I
No,
think
definitely.
that you have a right to defend yourself, right? He had a right to defend himself prior to him being shot at
Yeah.
because you had 3 assailants on one person.
Mhm.
So, no, I don't think he intended to, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
No, I think any murderer should be punished to a very large extent. But I'm saying like I don't know, man.
Murder or
Move.
self-defense? Is that the same
Yeah,
thing to you
it's-
or
Well, murder is a murder to me. I
Oh.
mean, the circumstances should be thought about when you're convicting somebody, but murder is murder.
Well,
to
I
me.
don't
But
think
he's not getting.
he's not even-
arrested.
No,
or
he hasn't been
anything.
charged with anything.
Yeah.
Samuel's trying to jump in because I'm looking at his face. He disagrees. Come on, Sam.
no, when your life is in danger and you're about to get killed, when you're in that mode, you're not thinking about, well, is this technically murder or not?
No, I'm
You're
not
thinking,
saying
how
that.
am I supposed to survive? I'm trying to see where you're coming from, but my standpoint is that not all murder is all the same. Murder is not murder in my standpoint. Self-defense is different than just picking somebody out in the street and killing them. That's different. There's a difference. So also I want to say one more thing.
Come on.
Okay.
This is a very complex situation. So I don't think there's an absolutely
sure.
right or wrong side. I think there's just two sides that have different situations that they got in this predicament. So it's just it's like both sides had fault in getting
100%.
into the predicament, and it's just kind of unfortunate.
It is.
I think that if I was to point at anybody, I think I'm more upset at the girl.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't agreed with it, none of this would have happened.
Yeah,
And my
that's
initial
true.
thought about all of this was, what was in it for her?
Mm.
For her, because like I don't find me personally, I wouldn't find any joy in somebody getting jumped. So I'm just thinking like, did they offer her money? Did they offer her it had to be some type of amazing thing where it was just like, y'all can jump him. Yeah, go ahead. Like, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just very weird.
Yeah.
What do you think? What was in it for her?
That's what I'm wondering because it's like, hey, help us set up this guy.
Okay.
Like what? Like, what's going on in your
okay?
head? Yeah. And I kind of want to go back to her because it's like she is an accomplice, right? Like she was there. I don't know how, to what extent she planned everything out with the guys, but she knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
If she knew there was gonna be a gun there or not, she knew he was gonna end up getting hurt.
Well, her story changed a couple times, which is unfortunate, because I think when you give interviews with law enforcement and you don't lawyer up, you end up talking too much.
And I think that is the main reason why the coach said, no, you're not talking to my players.
And so in a series of her interview, she changed her story a couple of times, and they kept catching her in falsehoods, right? And so I'm just like, a lot of times, y'all talk too much. I tell y'all that all the time. Y'all talk a whole lot, and y'all just be talking to talk, and you don't understand the gravity of the situation you're going to find yourself in should you keep running your mouth the way that you are. I would be surprised if they don't charge her with murder.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because she initiated pretty much this whole situation. And she admitted it on the interview with the detective. She admitted her part in this situation. I would be very, very surprised if they don't charge her with murder.
Yeah, me too.
Just like Sam said, it's just so
it is very complex.
Yeah, it's so many parts. It's like you can't hear the story one time and be like, okay, I know exactly how I feel about it. It's like, no, because once you hear more and more and more and you talk about it, it's like, okay, well, it's so
especially
much.
like with the suspension. To me, like that's the thing, like the indefinitely, I don't know if it should be indefinitely, but then again, he's not going to be able to play because of his injuries. So
honestly,
maybe it's a as long as you're injured suspension type thing. I don't know. But then
does that have anything to do? And I'm ignorant to this portion of sports. Does it have anything to do with? Could he redshirt for the rest of the semester and retain his eligibility?
It depends on how many games he's
Samuel is shaking his head, so I don't know.
Yeah, depend because in basketball you can play maybe.
I think it's 6. Yeah, I think it might be 6 games or something.
It's not a lot of games you can play, and basketball and college basketball season just started. Theoretically, if they haven't played that many games, if they played less than 6, like Jalen said, he could theoretically redshirt and retain his eligibility.
And just so, because I don't know if the ladies understand what red shirt is.
Yeah.
Can somebody tell them what red shirt is?
I know, but
I got it. So basically, redshirting is when you basically just practice with the team, but you are not eligible to play.
And that's a decision I, as a player, make for myself.
Yes. Most of the time, it doesn't really come down to the player. It comes down to the player, but most of the time, the coaches be like, hey, you're probably not going to play this year, so you should probably redshirt to get an extra year.
Okay.
But
how many years of eligibility does a college player have?
Technically
4 max. 4 max.
You really get 5. You get 5th year transfer. You can be a 5th year transfer. But most people do 4.
Yeah, most people. I mean, some people in college basketball, it can be like 1 and done. It can be like 2 years. It's really a fluctuation in college basketball specifically.
Especially with COVID, because a lot of people got that COVID year removed from their eligibility. So you have some people in here that's been in college for 6 years playing basketball because they got the free COVID year. So
were they playing during the COVID?
They were playing and then they missed the tournament. So when COVID happened, the March Madness tournament was about to start. So then nobody got to play that.
Okay. All right. And so
good to know.
Again, so I understand about the punishments. I think life is bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you're suspending the other teammates for 1 game, but for why? Is it just a violation of the curfew?
Maybe.
Because I would understand that.
Yeah.
But I think that there has to be some other consequences besides just the 1 game suspension.
For the guys who came to pick them up? Why?
Yeah.
He came to get his friend.
But
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Because not only did they violate the curfew, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just my thoughts,
okay.
Right? They I'm sure violated the team conduct.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
the rules that are ascribed to student athletes when they participate on behalf of an institution.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not blaming them, because I would have went and got them too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying some people may look at that, like, for instance, and the person who ended up dying because he also took part in this situation, his family is going to call for accountability on the other side. It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any news reports, but I would venture to say he was a good boy. He never had any problems with anybody. That's what the tape is with people who don't understand why their children were the only one being held accountable. So I'm just looking at it because honestly, nobody had to die.
Nobody did. Yeah.
This situation wasn't so serious that somebody had to die.
Yeah.
The fact is, you have a lot of young people out here with this machismo or this bravado, and they gotta prove themselves and show how hard they are. And don't step to me. And I saw the brawl from the football game. It was really vicious. Not to the point where people got shot, but they were fighting out there like some vicious people. And so when it escalates, we never know why it escalates, but when it escalates and you find yourselves in situations where you're not thinking, right? And we've been talking to you all about mindfulness. We've been talking about the dog mind and the lion mind. In that moment, all they could understand was what they wanted to see happen, and they wanted that person to hurt. Now, he wasn't the only one involved in that brawl, so I'm trying to figure out why they focused on him. And did it have
access to him?
Him who?
Access to him.
I think that
there wasn't no other athletes that participated in that football brawl.
No, I'm saying I think that they had access because once they found out that he was talking to the girl, they were like, "Oh, let's get him." That's the only thing that I can think of, because they had quick access to him, lure him, because you're talking to him, so he trusts you enough, and he might be. So come over.
You said what, Jada?
So after like a few days, you trust this girl to come out and meet her in the middle of the night?
Well, come on now. Y'all know your hormones be getting us.
Jada.
Y'all know your hormones be handled. Come on, Sam.
Let's not act like. Let's not act like
y'all be in love after one conversation.
Come on, Jada. Let's not act like. Don't take the high road. Don't take the high road here. Let's not. Come on.
Taking the high road. It's just like
it's the shoulda, woulda, coulda game.
Like, how long y'all gotta
you playing the shoulda, woulda, coulda game.
Okay, I'll stop saying. I'll stop talking about
it. General demonstration of what happened on the first time they met.
Okay.
No, thank you. We didn't.
I don't think I need the visual representation. Rubbing that little goatee, talking about saying what you up to tonight.
Oh my God.
Sam, why you licking your lips?
Why you so close to the camera?
Hey, Sam, why you 12 years old trying to seduce the viewers?
Got him there.
Sam, you already know. It don't take
Sam
much.
Already know.
I do
let that young man be on one of these sports teams. You think you waiting? What? How long? How long you think these girls waiting when they get proximity to folks?
Personally, me,
let's keep it a buck.
For me,
it's not. No, we're not talking about for you. We're talking about
generally.
General.
But you can tell us about you. What you trying to say is about you. What you trying to say?
For me, if I don't know, I just go based on how my mother was like. You, I don't know if I don't know their parents, you ain't going. So it's like me as an adult, I don't know you.
Like, have we even met in the daytime yet? I don't
know.
That's
just me. But
people
have
we met in the daytime? Have we met in the daytime?
And I mean, you in the nighttime? Why we act like this for the cameras?
You said for us to say. You
act like this for the cameras.
Our perspective.
You did.
Oh my God.
Like this for the cameras.
But I'm saying, like, my generation, I know how when you want something, you're gonna go to great lengths to get it. Like, So I can.
Maybe it's just a personal moral thing over here. We're just like, I don't know. Nighttime. And I got a game. I'm like, I got a game in the morning.
And I don't know you. I don't really know you.
They play in the evening. So they don't have no game in the morning.
I don't know.
I don't know you, but now y'all haven't entered into college yet.
Yeah.
Y'all haven't been around.
Maybe it's just the high school
Yeah.
point of view. What if it's a high school
Jalen?
point of
I'm
view?
letting you know it's different.
Talking from experience?
No, no, no,
okay.
no, no.
All right, Jalen.
No,
All right, Jalen. You
hey.
seem to know a little bit more about this. I'm just,
No, just because I just know how this game works. I've been
Yeah.
in college for what,
Talk
3
to me about the game, Jalen.
Yeah,
please,
Jalen.
Look,
Jalen. Hold on, let me
Please,
just.
Jalen.
Look,
We about to be in college next year. I want to know.
athletes
Have
when
their pick up the
they-
litter.
literally, you will have girls that will literally go to the game to try to impress athletes that are trying to impress them. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. They if
interesting.
all he has to do is say, "I play basketball." You don't gotta.
Oh
No,
my
no,
God.
no. He don't even got to say that because he's 6'7".
He's
He's
6'7".
6'7",
He
dark
don't.
skin.
No, think about it. He
They'll
don't.
probably assume.
He don't even gotta. He don't even gotta play a. He can be a bench warmer.
Facts.
He can be a bench warmer and literally just be like, and walk around with the gear.
Because y'all
I
wouldn't
want
know.
him.
Y'all wouldn't know he
unless I
don't play
say I
on the
watch that
game.
game. Like, what you?
Because they
sit on
they
the
go to
bench?
they go to the game. They don't even know what's going on.
Oh, wait,
They don't even know
wait
the
a
rules of
minute.
basketball.
Wait a-
They don't even know what's going on. They don't know the rules. They just know he's cute. I want to try to get him. That's how it
I
works.
want it's that pick me type of stuff.
That's
Pick
all it
me,
is.
Pick me, right?
Pick me.
That's
You
it.
want to be the best. You want proximity to power. You want to be with
Jalen,
the
what do
cute
you always
guy.
say?
You want to be who everybody. You want to be
About
with whoever
clout?
wants.
Clout is the new currency.
Yeah,
That was a new currency.
But
man.
let me tell you something. Because clout is relatively a new thing, or what y'all have labeled now.
Mhm.
But
now.
Groupie's been around for a long time.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay,
Always.
thank you, Tevin.
They've been around for a long time, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
Yeah.
So when you have one of these high-profile males
Mhm.
on these teams, there are a lot of people vying for their attention.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Now, I don't know what kind of stuff he was on or why he picked this particular young lady. I would have to think it was her mouth game and what she was saying to him prior to him showing up. What she was can we keep it a buck? Like
Why
y'all
would
be-
you turn it in the corner?
I don't know why Keela over here in the corner.
The mouth game. What, that threw you off?
Y'all be talking and y'all be talking about things all the time.
Yeah.
And so when these people come in and they meet up with you, they expecting you to keep your word and keep what you said to them over that telephone or over social media, or they want to see past those pictures that you done sent them in the group chat or whatever it is
Facts.
that y'all are on.
Facts,
So
facts.
let's stop being silly for a moment and let's keep it real, because the bottom line is, and the facts of the matter is, people are entering into games that they don't know are being played in the way that they're being played.
Mhm.
And y'all are so young and inexperienced that your mouth is going to get you in trouble
Mhm.
because y'all want to play these games with these older boys, men. They're not boys once y'all leave high school. With these young men, y'all want to play these games and y'all want to say certain things, and you don't think that people are going to show up to take you up on what it is that you said you wanted to do.
True. I think
Right?
that goes with any situation as well.
It can.
Can.
But we're talking particularly about this situation where this young lady had been talking to this young man,
Mhm.
invited him to her room under the pretense that they was going to get busy. And he shows up with that and that only on his mind. Let's keep it real.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He
why
was not he knew what he
And
was
he
there
should have
for.
stayed
He was
his
not
ass where he was
expecting.
at. He should have stayed where he was at.
Honestly, yeah. I was, thinking about it. It's like now that he has to face the consequences of his actions, I feel
don't know
like if
there
you were
gonna be a
really,
consequence.
I mean, like
Well, the
being suspended the
consequences-
game, not like
Okay.
law, but like if you were really worried about your future as a basketball player, would you have really left your hotel room when you knew you
All
had
of them do
curfew?
it.
That's not.
All
yeah,
of them do it. They
This is
just
the one
didn't
that
get
you know.
caught.
This is the one that you know.
Okay.
Trust me. It's
They all do
a
it.
lot.
Well, because the way you were talking about, it's like, oh, this, like, you left your hotel room suspension. I would think that as a player,
No,
Well,
if
he's
it's
saying
like
remember I
he
said-
under such a
understands
high
the
thing.
suspension.
No, but remember, I said
But
it's
they
very,
do-
very easy
Well,
to do.
if you think you're gonna get away with something, you're gonna still do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if you know your coach does one check.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is be
Like,
in there
you-
for that
yeah.
one check.
Yeah.
All right, we out.
So he wasn't thinking, "Oh, my future. What if I get caught?"
Yeah.
No,
He was
no,
like,
no.
"I know what I'm gonna do."
Somebody call me.
Right.
I'm on the way.
Right.
Yes.
And he
That'll
left
be.
at what, 151? I mean,
Crack it on.
what my mama say, nothing open after 11 but some legs. Let's keep it real. Can we talk about it? Like don't get scared and don't get,
Canes?
let's-
Canes is open.
Canes
Okay,
and
yeah.
that-
Okay.
So now we getting food, Jalen.
I mean,
we can.
In and out.
Hey, we can.
In and out.
I want us to be able to have conversations where we're gonna actually talk about real stuff.
No,
Y'all are heading to college soon.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
no, it's
Shaking
a
in my
different,
boots.
no, but it's a different game.
I feel like people are more. I guess I use the word
This is-
aggressive.
No,
But
this
no.
is what I'm gonna tell you.
Like
Tell me,
pressuring.
hold on.
Okay.
Pressuring in what way?
Like it's more. I feel like it's more peer pressure because once you get to college, you're with adults and you're with people who are legally able to do certain things. So when that's what's around you, it's like, well, this is my new environment. I have to, does that make sense?
I feel like peer pressure has always existed, though.
Yeah.
Like
Peer pressure in what way?
But
I'm
then you're
not-
also
trying
away
to
from your
understand.
parents.
so
You have no
How
one
we
holding
have-
you responsible. Like
You're right.
you're not
That's-
gonna go
holding,
home.
you're
That's-
holding yourself
Exactly.
responsible.
So if it's like, well, if I want to do this, I'm gonna go do it because who's gonna stop me?
right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but
That
that's
makes
not
sense.
to me. That's not peer
No, it's
pressure.
not peer
Yeah.
pressure.
That's you being able to now make decisions for yourself. And I would think
Purging on that
as
freedom.
parents that we've put enough into you
Mhm.
to make sure you make the right decisions. But sometimes y'all don't. And when you don't make the right decisions, you end up in situations like this young man now finds himself in because he was so concerned about getting to that young person. He didn't know that she had ulterior motives.
Mhm.
That's scary.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
very.
That's very scary.
Yeah. And so we have to be honest about what we're doing. Should he have a consequence for leaving? I mean, yeah, but indefinite suspension, I don't agree.
Really?
Mm.
Indefinite suspension? No, I
Well,
don't agree.
if it's an indefinite suspension only because he snuck out, no, because the other kids broke cover. But if it's like, okay, well, you
if
did
it's
this,
a punishment because he
Yeah.
defended himself.
yeah,
then what
that's
would you think?
different. Which is like, nah.
I mean, I think he's going to deal with some physical consequences, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Because
yeah.
now his leg is jacked up. He
Mhm.
doesn't know if that's going to hamper his prospects later on in his life, all because he was horny and decided he was going to leave and go do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I mean, he's going to deal with some consequences. He's also has to deal with the consequence of public opinion.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, in
for-
that those other parents, the ones who lost their son, they're going to
Mhm.
have a different take on the situation because their son is not here to tell his side of the story.
Yeah.
All we know is what we see on surveillance video,
Mhm.
right? And so again, the parents aren't responsible for their actions, right? But at the end of the day, when somebody is gone, their parents are going to want to hold somebody responsible,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Regardless of what happened, how it happened, the facts of the matter, any of that.
Yeah.
They're going to want somebody held responsible.
So why do you say that the suspension indefinitely is doing too much?
Like for why?
It's-
Suspended indefinitely
like-
for what?
Oh,
like,
you're looking for a reason.
I want to know
Yeah.
why.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Because if it's just for he snuck out, he broke curfew, that's not a great thing unless it was signed like, okay, if I break curfew, I'm suspended indefinitely. But it was just
But
like,
that would be all four of them and not just him.
exactly.
Samuel
So-
has his hand up. Sam, just jump in.
Yeah,
Just go ahead and
please.
jump in.
Okay, so I was saying for sports, I feel like for me, at least when I perceive things, suspending indefinitely is different than injured indefinitely because suspending indefinitely means that, I mean, we don't know when we're gonna bring you back, but we're probably not
Right.
gonna bring you back. Like this, just right now, like recently, the Texas Longhorns basketball
Oh, the
coach
coach. Yeah.
got exposed for domestic violence, and they said they will suspend him indefinitely until further notice. What they said. So for me, that just seems like they aren't going to bring him back.
You say are or aren't?
Aren't.
I
So, like,
think-
if you're gonna kick him off. But if you're gonna keep him, suspend him for a little less time.
I'm thinking they're just trying to do an investigation. That's what usually when I hear suspended indefinitely, I think they're doing investigations. And then once they find what's the root and the cause of everything, then they'll be like, okay.
So they'll
We'll move-
reinstate him at that
Yes.
time.
Yeah,
That's what
because
I'm
you know,
thinking.
because like Sam said, it's very complex. Like they can't figure it out. How are us as viewers supposed to figure it out? They're still trying to put pieces together right
Because
now.
then again, the team doesn't even know if he's going to face charges, which that's a whole thing right there.
Yeah.
Then you have the fact of, well, his legs. Then it's just a
very
whole lot
complex.
of things. Because you used to have the law enforcement side of it, because you don't know who's going to get charged with what,
still in
and
the
it's just
hospital?
too many pieces to go around.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm hearing that they both Hill and Smith have been charged with multiple felonies. Upshaw has not been charged. Now, Upshaw is the one with the bat. He has not been charged.
Why not? That's
State police
okay.
conducted an interview with Upshaw on campus after the shooting and then transported him to the police station. There, the police seized his phone, and Upshaw refused a second interview, according to court
And
documents.
can't
But
they charge him
isn't-
for premeditation and then
an assault, right? Can't they
I
charge
don't
him
know.
with
I don't know what's on his phone.
bodily harm? He done broke
Nah,
his,
'cause
his leg looked like half of a roundabout.
he
Like-
brought the bat for a reason. You don't just bring a bat and okay, I have a bat. That's all. If
You're on
He's-
camera,
right,
you
and
hurt
he
somebody.
swung the bat.
and,
He
and it-
said, "Mink." I'm like,
he had an
oh.
intention. That's he like
Well, you know,
wanted to
all we
disable.
can do is follow the story and see what they come up with next. But I'm intrigued because there's so many layers to it,
Yeah.
and it comes down to decision making. It comes down to knowing who these people are. We had a whole conversation 2 weeks ago about your friends, right?
mhm.
Yeah,
Or the people that you're calling friends, right? And so now we have another situation where
Yep.
you have a group of people making a decision. Somebody ends up deceased. Now they're going to see if somebody needs to be held responsible. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, in my view, that young lady needs to be held responsible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
Heck
she
yeah.
she
I think-
set it up.
like I said before, out of all this, I think I'm most upset at her. I
Mhm.
just have this like, why? Like, it's frustrating.
And it reminds me of back in the day, I had this crush, and we're going to get out of here real soon. I had this crush on this actor. His name was Merlin Santana. He was around in the 90s. He was
Mhm.
cute. He was cute. I wanted to go to prom with him. I
Oh
wrote
my
Oprah and
gosh.
everything. Anyway,
Hard body, hard body.
so he goes out with this girl, and she sets him up. He ends up killed in the car when they came to rob him as she was on a date with him and told the people where to find him at.
Mm.
And so those things come up, and I know there are more situations out here
Mhm.
that deal with that. What I'm saying is you all need to be very, very clear about who your friends are
Mhm.
and not placing yourselves in situations that are going to cause harm to you. Yeah. Like it's a new ball game out here.
Mhm.
Man, it's a little scary.
Yeah. And this type of conduct, they normally see this in the neighborhood. They don't see this on college campuses.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
No, yeah.
Facts.
There ain't even a whole lot of, I would say, it ain't even a whole lot of black people at the New Mexico campuses.
Mhm.
Why they cutting up like this?
I was gonna say that earlier. I was.
You was gonna say what?
What?
I was gonna say
Why
that.
they out there being
earlier.
all rowdy in New Mexico? That's my thing.
Get somewhere and sit down. But anyway, y'all, we done ran out of time for today. Thank you all for joining us.
Sam, what?
What'd you
Can I
say,
say
Sam?
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
If you
Oh,
haven't
man.
seen a bat, you see
Oh.
this. It can get real hefty, and if you know how to swing it, you can swing it real fast with some force. Like if you can hit a ball 400 feet, you can definitely break somebody's leg. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I agree. I
Thanks.
agree. Stop it, Tevin.
Thank you, Sam.
Well, I mean, Sam said it. I mean, you swing that can actually, if you hit somebody aside from in the
Yeah.
leg anywhere else, you can actually cause
Yeah, you can.
bodily harm
Yeah.
and kill somebody.
Yeah.
So golly, I'm sick of stories
lot.
like this.
Me
y'all.
too.
I want our folks to act like they got some damn sense.
Those fake people on both
Happy-go-lucky.
parts.
Happy-go-lucky stories. We want that.
We
We're
want happy-go-lucky
happy-go-lucky
stories?
It's almost Christmas.
Well, I mean,
Christmas
if I would have found a
time
happy-go-lucky
with
story, I would have brought it to you.
There was one.
What, Jalen? Oh, good to know.
Deion Sanders.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
Thanks guys
Anyway.
for watching.
Next time. Too soon. Well, with that, we're going to hit y'all with the wave. We're going to catch you here next week where we will be talking with
Ready.
Dr.
I'm
Charles
ready.
about suspensions in the Detroit public school system. What's up, Steph?
Ooh,
Samuel.
Samuel.
Boy.
I
Hit
said
the wave.
Stephen.
Hit the wave, Sam. Hit the
Come on,
wave.
Sam. Hit us with the wave, Sam. Jada.
Oh, my shoulder hurts.
Ooh.
Uh,
Ooh,
ah.
tricky.
All right. Till next week.